Welcome back. As promised, Jay Bala from cashthekiosk.com joins us on the show. Well, Jay, it's a stock-specific market, so to the stocks, I believe you have a buy call coming in on one of those pharma names, Torrent Pharma, if I'm not mistaken, and you're a little bit cautious on I think, PI Industries. Tell us more.
Yeah, that's right, Nigel. Good to be here. See, Torrent Pharma has been an outperformer even within the pharma space. So I believe the recent high it saw it's an incomplete move. So, although the risk reward at this point of time is not too great, but, we have to be stock specific and we have to keep the cash register ringing. So with that in mind, keep the exposure a little bit low, but keep a stop loss of over 24.90 for a price objective close to 28.50 for Torrent Pharma. When it comes to PI industry, the recent move and from the recent highs, it's one of a spike down, and then it's been consolidating sideways. This seems to be a bearish consolidation for the stock. So as long as the stock stays below 40.40, I think it's got potential to drop somewhere close to 3,100. So that's the bullish and bearish setup on the stocks.
Okay, so that is the stock-specific trades that Jay wants you to kind of take positions in. Jay, we'll get to the market here in just a bit, but let's just address global markets, right? Because last week was pretty poor for US markets. The S&P dropped below the 55-day average. Last night we've seen a bit of a pullback, although everything else has been very quiet. Yields, dollar, all steady. We've not seen pullbacks there. What's the base case, according to you, from a US perspective?
Yeah, I think the US indices are signaling a market turn, and there's not that much clarity when it comes to the European indices or the Asian indices. I guess, there are some more lower lows to come through for the Asian indices. If the US indices behave as anticipated, they are below the March lows. Most of the major indices are below the March lows. The FANG index, which has been the driver for the whole market, even that is, signaling a change of trend for the market. So in the next couple of sessions, I anticipate the Dow Jones to be flat and the Nasdaq to clock lower lows. If that's done, I think there's a good probability that Friday's low that we saw because of the Middle East crisis, that will get taken out. We'll have a pop-up after that, and then we'll have a much sharper drop down for the markets. When it comes to the US 10-year yields, the most probable path is across of 470 that we saw very recently. So 470 bips, once that's taken out, the targets are about beyond 500 bips. But there is another possibility that the yields could cool off in the event the market sell-off intensifies. That could be a move towards safety. So in that scenario, we could have the markets see yields cool off. So that's the scenario I'm working with broadly.
Jay, you're not you still have that risk off scenario, which is still a probability, maybe another leg down. So you're keeping that on the table. Got it. For us here, some of the telecom stocks are looking very interesting, Jay. Just want to specifically talk to you about a Bharti Airtel. I don't know if you look at Vodafone charts at all, because the stock has been going through a huge sort of, corporate restructuring development for the last many years. But in case you looked at Vodafone and Bharti, more importantly, what do you make of the price action now?
I've been bullish on Bharti since December. I've had two buy calls here on CNBC itself, once in December and once later in January. And it's been a star outperformer within the sector. And I don't think it's finished its up move at about 1350 now. It might still have higher highs to come through, but the upsides are getting limited. Vodafone, I do look at it, but as long as it can stay above 14, then that can be some positives. But from a slightly longer time frame, I don't think it's doing anything great. More of sideways consolidation needed before it can launch higher, if it were to launch higher in the medium term.
Okay, Bajaj Finance has slipped a bit as we speak. So Bajaj Finance should come up for you on your screen. LTI Mindtree, which reports numbers today, is in the green, but you can see a little bit of a downtake coming through on LTI Mindtree ahead of numbers tomorrow. And JSW Steel too is down close to about 0.5%. Jay, any other stock recommendations that you would have?
I have an extreme short-term, positivity towards HLL or Hindustan Unilever. I anticipate the FMCG index to bounce back somewhere close to 53,000. And I know this is just a short-term bump up for the stock. I'm negative on it from a medium term. So holding with a stop of about 2100, anticipating a bounce somewhere close to 2400. That might be a very short-term trade, not even a trade that lasts beyond 1 or 2 weeks.
Okay, I think we're just 5 minutes away from close as things stand right now. Apart from the trades that you mentioned, would you look at, I mean, Jay, broadly, stocks, lots of stocks after many years making new highs. Look at something like a Sterling Solar Wilson. I'm not sure if you looked at the stock recently. Look at something like a VA-Tech Vabag, which made a new high. Any thoughts on any of these names?
Yeah, I had a look at VA-Tech Vabag, and it's looking quite strong. I think it's got further higher highs to come through. The problem is within the mid-cap space and the small-cap space. This high that's possibly pushing it to its all-time high, the index as such, that's actually looking like a exhaustive move rather than that's something that's going to expand. So with that in mind, I wouldn't be too excessively bullish on VA-Tech Vabag, but if you see from a last 6 months to 3 months, 3 months to 6 months perspective, it's done phenomenally well. So rather wait for a pullback somewhere close to 900 odds for VA-Tech rather than getting long at current levels. Yeah, but as I said earlier, the mid caps and the small caps from an index perspective, they are looking a bit toppish.
The top the top keeps getting pushed higher though, right? That's the market for you. What about MCX, BSE, etc.? Any trades here?
MCX, I think it's looking reasonably okay. The recent high of about 40.15, it's about that's clocked a few weeks ago. That needs one more high to get taken out. But from a slightly couple of months perspective, it's moving up with its momentum slowing much slower. So this is a signal that the next high could be something that's clocking a top. So as long as the stock can stay above 3,700, I think it's a positive. If 3,700 were to get broken after clocking fresh record highs, I think that will be a signal that this is a reversal for the stock.
By the way, the metal index is slipping now. The metal index is down close to about 0.5%, and that fall has come through only in the last 30 minutes. So in the large cap space, it's JSW Steel, which has taken a bit of a knock. Nalco is down 1.5%. Vedanta is under pressure by more than 1%. Hindustan Copper's loss is close to about 0.5%. There you have it. Many of these metal stocks are slipping. But Jay, they've had a fantastic run. Is there a trade that you would recommend on any of the metal/commodity names?
Yeah, I think there is a euphoria that's building up in the base metals, and I've been slightly positive on Hindustan Copper from a short-term perspective. I think copper is heading towards a significant resistance, and once that starts to turn, I think the euphoria in the metal sector will start to die down. We'll work with reversal levels later on, but I think Hindustan Copper, if it were to close below 340, I think there is a possibility that would be a reversal for the stock too. So cautious here. I'm tracking the base metals in COMEX. Once the reversal were to come through, I think that will signal a top for most of the base metals and ferrous metal stocks.
All right, Jay, we'll leave it on that note. Thank you very much for being with us and giving us your sense on the market today.